Is the member seeking a call and reply?
Mr Speaker.
Catherine Delahunty.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Tēnā koutou katoa. It's great to see the public interest in this moment in history. I'm very excited about both my bill and the subsequent one because they are both about passionately held, important issues of justice. Now, to return to my bill, I would like to thank the speakers from the New Zealand First and the Labour Party for their very helpful and supportive comments, as well as my own colleague from the Greens. And I have heard some interesting attempts to justify not sending the bill to the Select Committee. These include that this bill is only for one river. It is at the moment, but in the past, Section 107.2a has also been used in the notorious Paukahu Tairāwhiti sewage battle, which some in this House are well aware of, and the Rotokawa Joint Ventures and Mighty River Power battle versus Taupo District. What's more, this kind of open-ended clause could be used again. I have already seen it used twice, and I have also seen that the lack of a time limit means that regional councils and companies can rely on it, as Environment Bay of Plenty and the pulp mills in fact do. They are hoping that they can keep relying on Section 107.2a without a time limit. Successive mill owners have told communities that the effluent in the river is so improved that we should not have to worry, and they have paid their experts to say this. When Niwa appeared in front of one of the hearings that I was at and told the court that putting 150,000 tonnes of pulp mill effluents into a river every day was enhancing its life-supporting capacity, I thought I'd heard it all. But what I'd heard was money talks in the Environment Court and the poor cannot be heard. The scientific knowledge about the toxic effects of chlorine bleaching have been considered by the courts according to last century's level of understanding about the effect of chemicals. And the persistent organic pollutants and emerging chemicals of concern which are associated with chlorine bleaching are much more toxic than we suspected, and in smaller amounts. We need to catch up, Mr Speaker, with the modern and precautionary understanding of chemicals rather than licensed continued pollution. And we can have pulp and paper. We can modernise our industry and keep our jobs. When Dr Russell Norman and others went down the Tarawera River in an inflatable last year, they arrived at the river mouth with bad headaches because the black drain, as it is unfortunately known, is dirty and it smells bad, and I urge you to drive through Matata and have a look at it. If you'd like to look at it, you'll see Coca-Cola black water pumping into the Bay of Plenty after 77 years of pollution. Another argument was that local council and regional council don't like my bill, therefore it's not local. And it may be news to some in this House, but local and regional councils are not the only voices we need to listen to. And I know at least one regional councillor in the Bay of Plenty, Tipene Ma, who's fought all his life for the clean-up of the river, even though he is outvoted and outlawyered. We need to hear from people who gave up submitting and protesting but have not stopped grieving for the 77 years of pollution. And all the MOUs and the experts and the planting of nice little trees along the polluted river in the world by the pulp mills does not change the fact that the river is still a drain and the river is black. If companies like Norske Skog and Kara Holt Harvey want to, they can afford the experts and pay them well and say there are no cultural and social and environmental issues that are ongoing. But I swear to this House that there are people, some living and some who have passed on, who, though they cannot win in court, have a legitimate and profound view, which we need to hear, about Section 107, Part 2A. Also about the sludge pond and the contamination hidden behind the barbed wire fence around the Wahitapu at Kawiro. And just as the gallery tonight may be full of people who are here for justice, this is an injustice they may never have heard of. And it is time that you did know about what's gone on behind the pulp mills at Kawiro. It is time that you heard the story. The workers at the mill and every activist campaigner over 77 years has acknowledged the need for jobs and food on the table in the Bay of Plenty. But do we really believe, Mr Speaker, after 77 years of pollution, we cannot incentivise these companies to change? We can protect this and other waterways by giving them a clear message about the law Exceptional means exceptional. And a river, Mr. Speaker, is not a drain. I would like to thank all of you who have supported and say once again, kia kaha te tarawera awa.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party vote is called for. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes in favour.
Green Party.
14 in favour.
New Zealand
8
First.
votes in favour.
Māori Party.
3 votes in favour.
Mana.
In favour.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote opposed.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Order. The ayes are 61, the noes are 60. The motion is agreed to.
Forced management, restricted duration of certain discharge and coastal permits, amendment bill, first reading.
The question is that the Resource Management Restricted Duration of Certain Discharge and Coastal Permits Amendment Bill be considered by the Local Government and Environment Committee. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. I call on members' order of the day number 4.
Marriage